Hey Switch 2 fans, Nintendo has confirmed that some Switch 2 physical releases will just have a download key on the card. So it's going to come in a game case. It's going to come with a DRM Nintendo Switch 2 card that doesn't have the game on it. Does that make sense? Or is that just a little bit wasteful? We're going to get into this article right now, but before we do, hit the like, subscribe, click the bell icon if you love Nintendo Switch 2. And also, if you need help getting a Switch 2, because they're going to be selling out day one instantly, bots and scalpers are going to go crazy. Head over to our Nintendo Switch 2 stock tracking stream. It's up 24 hours a day. It's a good place to hang out, chat about Switch 2, talk about Switch 2, check up on all the latest news, as well as stay up to date on the stock issue. As soon as pre-orders open, we're going to have a script up on the stream where you could leave up all day and it should play you alarms and alerts when the Switch 2 comes in and out of stock. So it should help you get your hands on one. So go check that out. I'll put the link down below in the video description. But before you do it, like I said, please like, subscribe, click the bell icon if you love Switch 2 as much as we do. So this article, and specifically this thing, Switch 2 being the first to include game cards, empty game cards for the Switch 2 that don't have the game on, that require you to download the game from the store anyway. This is like another nail in the coffin for digital games, I feel like. I think it's kind of a bad thing. Obviously, with the Switch 1, we got game cases with a with a card inside, with a piece of paper or a card inside the game case that says you have to download this game. But now they're making it even more annoying, I guess. They're including a physical game card without the game, with that little thing that gives you the code to download the game. And every time you want to play the game, you have to potentially, now I'm not sure, potentially put that empty game card in your console. So if you're hoping to maybe buy a game, certain game, you know, not be connected to the internet, go on a trip and just shove the game in and play, well, I've got bad news for you. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Also, check the links down below in the video description. I don't know if I'm going to be putting them in this video, but I'm going to be collating a list over on pixelbuys.com to where you can get, where I'm going to be listing all the retailers and all the games and all the accessories for the Switch 2. So go check that out. I'll put Pixel Buys' link down below in the video description. But anyways, so confirmed Switch 2 physical releases, some at least, will have a download key on the card, but standard game cards are still a thing. So let's talk about this. So amid the excitement of Switch 2's big news bonanza, Nintendo has quietly confirmed that some physical releases on the console won't have any game data included on the included game card. Nintendo is referring to these physical releases as game key cards, and unlike standard game cards, they'll only contain a download key rather than the full game data. Inserting the card into your Switch 2 starts the download process, after which you'll need to stick the game key card in your console anytime you want to play. So there we go. It's going to be an empty game card. It doesn't have the game on it, included on it. And every time you want to play, you have to have that card connected, but you also have to have an internet connection to download the game, which makes no sense to me. I mean, just if you're going to do the same thing as you did with the Switch 1, just include a little card with a download key, and that way it's a digital game. Okay, I feel like this is a very poor attempt to appease people that are anti-digital games. In reality, I think this is just going to annoy people more so because they're giving you an empty physical game. The point of the physical game is like you don't have to be tied to the internet. You can take it on a trip. You could buy it at the store while you're on the trip without internet access. Let's just say that's a scenario you're in. You pop the game in and just play it, right? That's the beauty of physical games. You don't need to be connected to the internet. There's no DRM side of it. You just pop the game card in and play, right? You might not be getting the latest updates and whatnot, but the launch game should still be playable, right? Well, now you buy a game. You go on your camping trip in the middle of the woods, you pop the game into your Switch 2, and you're like, I love camping, I love playing my Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm so glad we have physical games, because I could just pop this little card into my Switch 2 and start playing. Wait, it won't play? This card doesn't include the game on it? You have to download it? And you need this card to be in physically every time you want to play? I'm speechless. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and we're going to be checking social media to see what people have to say about this. So physical releases containing game key cards will be clearly labeled on their packaging, with the example of Nintendo's overview page featuring a prominent white strip along the bottom of the box reading game key card. And here is that image they're referring to. So if this is, in my opinion, very lame, but let me know. If you disagree, tell me why in the comments. So yeah, if it's going to be one of these empty game key cards, it should have this white strip at the bottom. Avoid these like the plague. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it also says full game download via internet required. It's similar to the messaging Nintendo used on Switch 1 when games were only partially included on cards, Alien Noir being the famous early example, even if the key on card approach in itself is new. As per Nintendo's explanation, Switch 2's home screen will provide instructions on downloading the game when a game key card is inserted into the console for the first time, and players will need sufficient free space in either Switch 2 system memory or on an attached microSD Express card, and we're going to be covering that in a future video, and I'm going to be putting links to my favorite Express cards down below in the description very soon, to where you can initiate the download, because you do need faster microSDs. The old ones don't work anymore, or they won't be sufficient for the faster run speeds of the games. Yeah, and the game can then be played once the download is complete. This means an internet connection is mandatory for the first time a game is launched, but not after. Although, to reiterate, game key card games cannot be started unless the card is inserted, unlike the downloaded digital Switch 2 titles. And if you're juggling around your storage and deleting games, re-downloading games, let's say you get caught in a situation where you don't have an internet connection, you put this game card in to play, you will have to be connected to the internet to re-download it, right? And again, this is more reliance on digital servers. So let's say the Switch 2 closes down, Nintendo closes down the Switch 2 store, let's say 10 years from now, 15 years from now, whenever it is, and you put one of your little digital game cards in, there's no guarantee that you're going to even be able to play the game anymore, because it did require an internet connection. It did require access to Nintendo servers to download in the first place. That sucks. So none of this is usually encouraging sign for physical media fans. No, it is not. This is like another nail in the coffin for digital media, and I thought Nintendo stood up for physical media. I apologize, physical media. I'd really thought Nintendo stood up for physical media. It was one of the few console manufacturers now that really championed physical media, championed the game card. They're not going all digital. I mean, look at the PS5 Pro. They've got rid of the disc drive. Sure, you could buy one in addition, but I feel like it's going the way of the radio. You know, there'll be some people that still cling on. Limited run games, for example, are still probably going to make physical games, but I feel like Nintendo is dipping its toes into that digital-only world now, and it makes sense. It saves money. It saves, them having to ship pallets of physical games to people. It's a lot more friendly for the environment, but it's still a bummer, if you're a collector, right? Yeah, physical standard game cards will still exist. It's hard to tell how commonplace the new game key card system is likely to become, and yeah, there we go, guys. That kind of sucks that this is going to be a thing, and unfortunately I could see this becoming more commonplace as time goes on. I feel like this is just more wasteful, honestly. I mean, they're having to produce the case, they're having to produce a card to go in the case that you're going to have to put in your system, but they're just not going to put the game on it. I know some games are large in size, and the cost of the game card can be it can be a hindrance in terms of pricing, right? Just look at micro SDs. Like I feel like 128 gig micro SD is like $15. That's just for the storage alone for, let's say, the game. So I'd imagine Switch 2 cards are not too much different than that. So obviously, a big part of the price that you're paying for a physical game is obviously the physical media, right? The storage that does cost money, and it's not inexpensive. So some ways I understand why they're doing this. It just I don't know. Just doesn't seem right. All right, over here in X, basically, so Does It Play says, so everybody freaking out about game key cards for Switch 2 games, ask yourselves this: why would they announce higher read speeds for Nintendo Switch 2 cards during the Direct if no game data was on them? I guess people are worried that most games are going to be like this. And James Carty Boy here basically put it best. He says, I think this means your third-party ports of games with large file sizes won't be on the card. Nintendo games should fit on the cards. These definitely won't fit. Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition, 98 gigabytes. Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, 90 gigs. Hogwarts Legacy, 85 gigs. And honestly, that seems pretty tame. I could have swore when I downloaded these games on PC, they were like upwards of 100. Remember, this is the Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition. I'd imagine they would do some compression for the Switch 2 version, but I mean, yeah, I think that's best case scenario. And like I said, I don't think Nintendo wants to spend, $15-20 on their proprietary game card storage things and add that to consumers, add that as a premium on top of the game cost. I don't know if anyone would like to pay that. We obviously covered the fact that Mario Kart World is going to be $80 digital, and I believe $90 or $90 to $100 for the physical version of it. You know, maybe, are you willing to pay the extra premium for physical, like true physical media, not this download game card stuff? Let me know in the comments. Install sizes vary from platform to platform, always depends on several factors: compression, texture, cutscene resolution, optimization, etc. I wish it was just the big games. I don't know why Bravely Default has to be one of the game. Oh, that's another thing. The physical version of Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, a game that physically, honestly, should not need a digital game keycard, right? I mean, it's mostly a 2D game. It's not a 3D game. It's not Cyberpunk. It's not a game that needs 150 gigs of storage. There is no need for this, for Bravely Default to be a game keycard game. So there are people justifying it, saying, well, the games that are going to require these digital game keycards are only going to be ones that have massive storage size, like file sizes, right? Which I understand, but again, this is proof that it's not just going to be big games, big third-party games. It's also going to be games that honestly can fit on a game keycard, like Bravely Default. It's sad. There's going to be other examples of this too. As Gladion says here, literally a 3DS game. These game keycards shouldn't exist. An upgrade of a 3DS game can fit on a Switch 2 card. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD fit on a Switch card. This is just greed. Also, Bravely Default better be uncensored now. That's 11 gigs I won't be downloading at least. It's Nintendo's attempt to curb piracy. This is the only one I was happy for until I saw that. It's just disappointing. Disappointed. Wow, that's terrible. I was expecting that for the big games maybe, but not something like this. Looks like Square Enix being Square Enix, because Square Enix is shit. Also weird that Mega Man Collection wasn't fully on cart, because replacing physical games is the entire point. SE is not just going to bother pretending it's not the end game for everyone, including Nintendo. This is Gen C's horse armor. So obviously this is a bit of a contentious issue that's going on in the Switch 2 community right now. Digital game key cards. Are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing? Or like I said, is it another nail in the coffin for physical games? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please like this video if you can, just to get awareness out and get people talking about it. And it'll really help out a lot. Also subscribe, click the bell icon. We cover Switch 2 every day on this channel, as well as other gaming news, PlayStation 5, Steam Deck, handheld gaming, including Xbox's new Xbox handheld, which is going to be competing with the Switch 2. I don't know how it's going to work out, but we'll see. And yeah, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm Blaze2K. See you in the next one. Check the links down below in the video description. Peace.
Let's go.